Hello, and welcome back to the Tea and a Buddy podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
And today, we're going to be talking about the Oscars and the Brit Awards.
Yes.
And stuff.
It's TV, film, and music
TV,
week.
film, and music week. And I mean, how are you liking this? You got to give us some feedback here. How are you liking this new format? Is this terrible for you?
I mean, we just...
Is this, have we jumped the shark? Have we done a Fonzie and jumped the shark?
Well, no, we thought
I don't even remember that episode of Happy Days.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it existed.
It was a later
It's AI.
episode. We thought that, God, as if you've seen all the episodes of Happy Days.
I might have done. I've watched a lot of TV in my time. I watched a lot of Channel 4 growing up, even though I missed Seinfeld and, other things.
You missed a lot. You must not have watched a lot of American TV, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's funny because it seems like I missed a lot of American TV, but I was okay with, like, when I first moved here, the references and stuff, like, I was like, I know. I watched a lot of American movies.
I thought you were going to say, I missed a lot of American TV, but I was okay with that.
But, I was okay with that. And I mean, there's a lot of people over here who've missed a lot of British TV, and they're okay with that.
Yeah. No, we just thought that doing this, like, format would make it easier for people who are only interested in one type of the things that we talk about.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about, this is kind of
to just go, oh, it's TV, film, and music week. Okay, great. I like it when they talk about those things, so I'll tune into that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, like, oh, maybe we want to skip culture and travel week where they're talking about British.
You better not want to
British versus American things.
Yeah, I mean, our culture week is usually us talking about British versus American week. I mean, they should have a week of that now anyway. British versus American week.
Oh no, we're getting rid of all of those calendar days.
So, the government wants to get rid of all the holidays and the federal holidays and stuff like that, but I'm going to reinstate it, and every federal holiday is British versus American. So it's British versus American Day.
Oh my god. But yeah, anyway. So that's why we kind of started this new format. I think it's working all right. We kind of
it's working good. I mean, it helps us more than it helps you, I think. Because a lot of them are just like, oh god, it's this week. I don't want to watch this. I don't want to listen to this.
Well, they might. No, that was my point.
It's like I'm waiting for.
When they talk about food
and drink, yeah.
Yeah, I only like when they talk about
We've
food.
got a blinder coming up for food. We know what we're going to talk about food-wise.
But we kind of have turned past weeks, everything's sort of... we sort of put an entertainment slant on it.
Yeah, we're an entertainment podcast. We're not hard-hitting news here.
It's news and it's news and culture week, so let's talk about TV.
Because, I mean, you get a lot of your news. I mean, people who, they read the news, they get CBS or the BBC or whatever.
NPR.
NPR, which is going away along with all the federal holidays, apparently. But yeah, I mean, you don't want to hear about that. You want to hear entertainment. You want to be entertained. We understand that. We can understand the assignment.
They might tune in just to, like, hear my head explode every time, every week going on about the news.
I mean, really, I have to listen to it, but listen to my head explode. So you have to listen to it. I'm going to inflict it on all of you here. Because I know all about it. But yes, we're going to kick off with the Brit Awards. Probably a majority of our listeners probably didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Because they're not in the UK.
We have mostly American listeners, I think.
Yeah.
A few.
We've got a couple of people from the UK
yeah.
who hit us up every now and then, but yeah.
Yeah.
You may not have watched the Brit Awards.
Let us
hosted
know
by
if
Jack
you're listening
Whitehall.
from elsewhere in the world.
Yeah.
And not the United States. I mean, I think our analytics will tell us that, but... who needs analytics?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the analytics, they do help. That's why you see a lot of British content creators coming to Texas.
That's for another week.
That's for another week. Yeah, that's for the pop culture week or whatever. But yes, the Brits, They're basically like Britain's answer to
the American Music Awards.
The American Music Awards and the VMAs and all that kind of stuff. It's all kind of merged into one, I think.
Yeah.
I think
because
anyway,
the American Music Awards
might be,
was always like the less formal than like the Grammys. Let's say the Grammys.
No, it's the Grammys.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I thought it was a bit more... Okay.
Because you got Artist of the Year and Album of the Year and all that.
Yeah, I mean, they do all that at the American Music Awards as well.
Yeah. Charlie XCX. XCX. That's what I said, XCX.
You said XEX.
XCX. I said XCX. No, it's just like, it's XCX. XCX? I don't know.
XCX.
I mean, at this point, it should just be SEX, and that's it. Charlie SEX, the end. She managed to pick up. She did the. It's not the Brit Awards. It's the Brat Awards because she does the Brat song.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. So she picked up 5 awards, but you tuned in to see Sabrina Carpenter do her thing.
Well, we didn't tune in. Let's be real here.
Didn't tune in. You went and looked at it on...
I didn't go look at it, actually. I was just scrolling because this is my life. My life is just scrolling TikTok now.
You're just going to be like a cyberpunk head. And you're just going to be just scrolling all this stuff, just scrolling down.
Now, what was that thing that we watched where... It was like a British thing, wasn't it? Or maybe you didn't watch it with me.
What?
It was like... They were just like that, watching their feeds all the time. Actually, they weren't looking at a thing. It was just in front of their faces. And they couldn't see... Was that an episode of Doctor Who?
Probably. I mean, it's an episode of everything from Back to the Future onwards, I think, really.
Yeah, that's my life. I'm just scrolling. I'm just constantly scrolling. So, it came up on my FYP, and it was just like, it was actually a Sun thing. So, I didn't share that because we don't endorse the Sun.
We don't endorse the Sun. We don't endorse the Sun at all. And
So I wondered too, is this real? And then I did go looking for it. Because it was just saying, Ofcom had many complaints.
Yeah, I saw that too, yeah.
Ofcom had so many complaints about the Sabrina Carpenter performance was offensive.
Very offensive.
And so I was like, all right, this is the Sun saying this, so let me go look it up. And I looked it up, and I didn't see anybody else saying...
Viewers threatened to call Ofcom on. I don't know. They probably did. I think they did on Charlie SEX. I think her performances, they just... because the thing is, Ofcom in the UK, it's OFCOM, it's the Office of Communications.
Yeah, we've done a podcast on it in the past.
Like Ofsted, they're like regulatory bodies. Remember them, America? Regulatory bodies of the government, and they basically, people can complain to them and go, well, I just saw Noel Edmonds on my TV. Can you please fine the BBC for having him on there? And, and it's that kind of stuff. And, usually they'll go, yeah, Noel Edmonds, we don't like him either. Yeah, we'll find... But, usually it's like stuff like that. It's like, well, someone said a swear word on TV. That's it.
Yeah.
Call the police. Pre-Watershed.
I think Downton Abbey, of all things, had Ofcom complaints during the Anna rape scene.
Oh, yeah, that one. They also had it when his ulcer burst.
Oh, yeah.
They were like, I don't want to see him spewing blood everywhere on my TV.
All over the dinner table.
How dare he? And, the dog dying.
Did they?
Yeah. They were complained about the dog dying too.
God.
They also complained about stuff about plot lines in the... Well, I mean, that is plot line, but stuff like, Robert's being very annoying this season.
No, surely they don't.
Ofcom, do something about that. Go back to 1923 and sort that out for me, will you? Robert's being a knobhead.
But yeah, no. So Sabrina opened the show, and she opened it with dun 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 dun, and it was like the Union Jack all across the stage, and all the British soldiers. What are they actually called?
Well, the
Union Guard.
No,
I'm just making stuff up.
Usually, they're what are they called? The ceremonial, like Buckingham Palace guards. You see, the royal guards.
the ones in the red jackets.
Because they're made up... the ones in the red jackets with the fuzzy hats that people want to take photos with and shout at tourists. They are actual serving soldiers made up of different regiments. Usually like the Coldstream Guards or, stuff like that. Maybe it's always...
Culture Week.
Become Culture Week. Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think it was them. It was just a bunch of dancers in costume.
Yes. The costumes were really good, though, because I was like, wait a minute, these costumes look like really... They look like they're really the real uniforms.
Yeah, but they must have been terrible to dance in. Those poor dancers.
Yeah.
Because the bearskin helmet is very heavy and it's very hot.
Yeah.
And it's
surely
that's why
it was just like...
It was just kind of like...
faux fur kind of.
Faux fur type thing.
On some kind of foam dome.
So it goes into Mi Espresso, because that's her signature.
Yeah, she was so cute. She was like in a little sparkly red, they were all in
band
uniform.
Leader. She was like a band leader thing.
Well, it was meant to look, I thought, like King Charles or like Prince William, when they're wearing their ceremonial things with all the gold ropes and everything. Yeah. I thought it was meant to look like that.
With no trousers on.
Yes.
So it was very, very...
King Charles.
Accurate, yes.
Yes. Just the...
just little red panties.
The thigh highs and the...
little red pants.
I thought she looked really cute. I was like, how has nobody done this before?
Oh, they probably have.
Surely they have, but
this is what people said was, people are threatening to call Ofcom on this.
Well, I thought they were gonna. That was what I saw at first, and I was like, they're calling Ofcom what? Because they're offended that an American with no pants is like marching with what seems to be the palace guards. Like, what it was all about. And so then I kept watching, and of course she takes that off, and she's got her little red nightie on, as if you've seen her, that's what her whole gig is, like she's wearing the lingerie. It looks like lingerie from like the 60s, let's say.
Yes. And so she had all her other dancers in that, and they were doing like on the freaking... It kind of reminded me of Austin Powers, actually.
Yeah.
The fembots from Austin Powers.
Well, I was like, okay, they're doing like leg kicks and stuff like that. They're laying on these like platforms that are supposed to look like beds, I guess.
Beds in a certain place that has those like revolving beds. Remember? That's why it looks like Austin Powers just like doing that freaking thing, and they're just going round and round and round.
The thing about it is, it's like if you take away the lyrics that she's singing about, the dance moves and everything are very old fashioned.
They're pretty tame. They're stuff that you would see in like a burlesque,
in like a 1940s kind of stage show. Yeah, doing the kicks like that, and like and by the way, they wore no pants back then. Okay, they weren't wearing lingerie, but they wore those little bodysuits.
They weren't wearing anything.
with no pants, and the pantyhose that were like flesh tone that made them look like they had bare legs, God forbid. And, they did those same kind of kicks, whatever. So she goes through that. She's doing Bed Chem, which is the song she wrote about.
And that's when people started tweeting or, getting on threads to go, she's doing Bed Chem pre-Watershed. That's my girl. She's going to get a ton of Ofcom complaints about this
the lyrics are quite...
Yeah.
Raunchy, I guess. But my thing was just like, why would you do this song in... Because she wrote it about her ex-boyfriend, Barry Keoghan. Keoghan? Is that how we pronounce it?
Keegan. Cogan. Yeah.
She wrote it about him. And I was thinking, why would you perform that in, like, his homeland? Like, why would you give him
not his homeland.
Why would you give him a shout-out?
It's not his homeland.
Yeah.
He's
Irish.
Irish, yeah.
He's from Irish.
And someone goes, this is pure crazy. She's talking about an ex. She's doing it on the Brits, an Irish ex,
Yeah.
And that's like, kind of controversial within itself.
So that...
Get on to Ofcom about that.
I mean, I wouldn't have given him any kind of shout-out if I were her, but I mean, that's just me. But she ends it with the guards come back, or a few of the guards come back, and she's dancing around them, going in between them, like touching them, sort of doing like a nod to how the tourists, in movies and stuff, try to make them laugh, try to get some sort of reaction. And of course they don't do a reaction, except for at the very end, he kind of turns toward her and he's still not doing any reaction. But then
the camera kind of closes up.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, to do like a profile kind of shot.
Yeah.
And they are being lowered, both of them, by the way, are being lowered down into the stage.
Yeah.
But she sort of bends, she crouches down, let's say, and he turns to the camera and winks. Yeah.
And smiles.
Yeah.
And that blew up.
Yes. The crowd there went crazy.
Yeah.
But obviously that's what pissed everyone off. Yes. You can see it on our Instagram if you
I did the story. Yeah, you put that as a story. Yeah. So yeah, that one was a thing. Charlie XCX took home 5 Brit Awards. I don't know what she did.
She's British, so yeah.
But apparently that her performance wound up.
Oh yeah.
The off-gone people. and there's people
the
who
girls,
just sit
they were
around,
just winding everyone up.
Oh, you know, just
get
like,
those girls out of here.
But Sabrina Carpenter picked up the global success award. You know.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, she's
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of very girl-centered music right now, isn't it? Yeah.
We're loving it.
The biggest artists are all kind of female.
Chapel
right now.
Roan.
Yeah.
She did that performance of Pink Barbie Car. Pink Pony Club. But every time I hear it, I think Pink Barbie Car. Pink Barbie Car.
That's just an inside joke, though.
But no, it should have been the Barbie song, really. If she had it out before, when Barbie was out. Pink Barbie Car. I'm gonna drive you home in my pink Barbie car.
Yes.
Pink Barbie car. Well, Elton John was on stage for that one.
Well, that was at his
AIDS Foundation.
AIDS Foundation party after the Oscars.
He's retiring now, isn't he?
He had her.
Oh, you think he's retiring? I thought
he had announced that he was retiring.
I think he's just not doing the Vegas residencies anymore.
Oh, I thought he wasn't going to tour anymore. I thought that was announced. Yeah, we probably should have looked that up. Maybe
look that up.
Someone
Elton,
let us know.
Let us know. But yeah, he was on a stage.
He always has that Oscars after party every year for the AIDS Foundation.
Yeah,
and he had her perform, and he was on stage with her, and he's wearing a pink glittered, sparkly cowboy hat with like the fur trimmed. You know, someone said he looks like he's been pulled up on stage at a bachelorette party.
And I think he felt like that after a while too. He's given a microphone and he starts doing his thing.
Yeah, he had a microphone, but he really just kind of joined in at the I'm going to keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club part.
Yeah.
And he got up and kind of marched in place for that, and then sat back down.
Yeah, I mean he's got to be nearing 80 now, isn't he?
He was enjoying it though, and I'm sure she was.
She loved it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Chapel Roan loved it.
I mean, you would, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
If that was you and Paul McCartney was sitting in the chair on the stage, you know, you'd be like, "Oh, this is awesome."
This is awesome.
Yeah, but anyway, we'll talk about the Oscars also.
The Oscars, they did well, I mean, we tuned in quite late, but
I think we'd already missed about half of it.
They did a Bond appreciation segment of the James Bond franchise with Halle Berry presented it because she was in Die Another Day.
Yeah.
She's an Oscar winner too, isn't she, Halle Berry? Yeah, she is. And they did like a medley with Margaret Qualley dancing to the Bond theme. I don't know if you know who Margaret Qualley is.
No.
I was hoping you would know because I don't know.
But you were going to
tell me and then as Lisa descended from the ceiling to sing Wings Live and Let Die. I don't know who Lisa is. I'm getting old now, apparently. I mean, I was 39 yesterday. No, not yesterday. The other day. A couple of days ago. See?
A couple of years
Losing
ago.
my memory too. As a couple of years ago.
Perpetually 39
And Doja
now.
Cat gave a glittery rendition of Shirley Bassey's Diamonds Are Forever. She was a little bit off, Doja was.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she sung it pretty much straight, but she wasn't in key.
I was like, she's trying to do jazzy.
Well, no, she was doing it pretty straight. She was doing it as Shirley Bassey.
Yeah.
Pretty much, you know. But it sounded like, someone's got a hold of the karaoke machine. She's like, I don't need love.
Oh,
no. No. And it's just like, oh, God, here we go. And she was doing that in front of Barbara and Michael, who have stepped back now because they've given control to Amazon. Everyone's having a freak out about that because
oh god,
Jeff Blofeld is now in control.
I wonder why they made that decision. I can't say
point,
Albert would have been very excited about that.
I mean, he wouldn't have given up control of it
No.
that easily. But I can, people like we knew this was coming. The whole community, there's half the community was like, we knew this was going to happen since Amazon gained control of MGM, and they've been on at them going, we need a new Bond film, come on, let's do this.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. And people are like, oh, maybe it was a tactic just to get more money to get us to go away. Just give us a retirement fund. And Amazon just threw them a load of money and...
Oh, as if they need money, that family.
I mean, money is money when it's
Barbara Broccoli is the daughter, by the way, if you don't know
Broccoli,
what we're talking about, of the original.
Michael G. Wilson, he was an entertainment lawyer, I think, and he was his stepson. I think Broccoli's stepson, so...
Yeah.
He's in his 80s now, so he's looking at retirement, and he's fine. He wants to step back, and I think Barbara's like, yeah, I don't want to have the stress of this. Let Amazon do it.
Yeah, do they not? But you would think, oh, let's keep it in the family. If we're going to keep going with James Bond, like, surely
maybe the kids didn't want to do it.
Lazy.
I mean, if I was the kids, I'd be like, yeah, no. But people are looking on the bright side.
It's a family business.
Bright side with this, because they were doing, when they had Daniel Craig, between Spectre and No Time to Die, there was like 6 years.
Yeah.
And again,
Daniel Craig was her Bond, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
She fought to get him cast.
Yeah.
Like, she had ultimate say over that, but I think
when
the
he
director
finished,
was kind of like, I would have chose Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Back in the day. When they were casting years ago back in 2005. He was a little bit young then.
Yeah.
And his screen test was kind of like iffy. They've just released it and it kind of does look a bit iffy, but everybody's now is wanting him to be Bond. But I think maybe he'll do a Pierce Brosnan, because they signed Pierce Brosnan on.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't allowed to do it by NBC because they renewed his contract.
Oh yeah.
And so Timothy Dalton did it. And then he thought, oh, that's it. Ship has sailed now.
Yeah.
I'm never going to do it, when he was doing Mrs. Doubtfire. And then he got the gig.
Remember when that news came out that Aaron Taylor Johnson was going to be Bond?
Yeah, he's still in the running.
Yeah, but it must have been his people who were like, let's just put it out there that you're going to be Bond, and maybe it'll happen. Like maybe they'll have to. Yeah, people will get excited.
Henry Cavill, Aidan Turner was
I just
announced.
Can't. I feel he's too.
He's getting too old now. He's
too artsy. He's too I don't know. He's too. I don't want to say cool, because obviously James Bond is cool, but Aidan Turner's too cool, in a different way from James Bond. I can't really see him as James Bond, actually.
I think I'm advocating for him, even though he probably doesn't.
For Aidan Turner?
Even though he probably doesn't want to do it now.
Yeah.
There's people who want Richard Madden. There's people who want Sam Heughan, but I'm like, nah.
No, I don't think.
Sorry, Sam. Can't see.
I don't think Aaron Taylor Johnson either. I don't know. He's not old enough, is he?
Oh, he's just. I don't know. They need 35 to 40. That's their. I mean, maybe early 30s. We don't want young Bond. But I mean, everybody's like, well, now Amazon have got control. They can do spin-offs.
You say we don't want young Bond.
They're probably going to Amazon.
I actually would like a young Bond. Ever since you made me read those young Bond novels.
Moonraker, Pigeon, Double Taking Pigeon origin story.
No, the young Bond novels.
They'll probably look at.
They're great.
They are great, but I don't know how well they'll adapt to.
Well, why not? I think they're.
Yeah, people are just freaking out about Amazon.
Well,
because
rightly so. We don't like Amazon around these parts.
Amazon have, they did Fallout, which was pretty good, and there's been a couple of other things they've done pretty well. So, I mean, with a legacy franchise like Bond, they need to be very careful with what they do. They can't just go, oh yeah, slop this, slop that,
slop this, slop
eat
that.
it up, same day delivery.
But the Oscars opened with you kind of jump right into Bond. You were excited about that.
I thought it was kind of like at the beginning. That was
No, they opened with
Sabrina Carpenter and her
Cynthia
band of...
Arrivo and Arrivo. And Ariana Grande performing. Ariana Grande opened the show singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Cam. They performed Bad Cam.
She looked fabulous. She sounded good. She did too much. She did too much to that song. That song is so simple and beautiful and like, I don't know. To me, she just did a little bit too much.
You're doing too much.
Yeah, so I was kind of like, I wish she would have just sung it straight because she's capable. She's got a great voice. But then Cynthia came out and did a song, and then they did a song from Wicked, the final song from Wicked, and blew the house down. It was so good.
Oh yeah,
I saw that on TikTok as well because obviously we weren't watching the Oscars when it started. But did you see anything about what was Conan O'Brien's reception? Did you see anything?
I think people thought he was fine.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they were just like, oh, yeah, he was fine.
Yeah.
He was there.
I just wondered.
He did a joke about
he's hosted
Amelia
before,
Perez.
hasn't he? I seem to think he has, maybe
years ago. Yeah. Maybe during the whole Jay Leno thing, because everybody was making jokes about that. So, due to a last-minute change, Jay Leno will be hosting the Oscars.
Oh, yeah.
Because of his whole thing.
Yeah.
Robbed him. But the film Honora and The Brutalist did very well.
Oh,
I think The Brutalist got Best Picture.
Yeah, I mean, we'd never heard of most of the films. Adrien
Brody won Best Actor. Mikey Madison won Best Actress. Zoe Saldana and Kieran Culkin picked up
I love Kieran Culkin.
Yeah, he's doing it, isn't he?
Yeah, the more I see him, I just love his, like, I just love his natural personality. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, he's come a long way from that Pepsi's Coke swilling kid.
From being, what was his name in Home Alone?
Fuller.
I don't want to sleep with Fuller.
I don't want to sleep with Fuller. He wets
the bed.
But he doesn't wet the bed. He didn't. That was a big lie.
No, if you guys haven't seen Succession, definitely recommend Succession.
Yes.
He's absolutely great in that. And his personality is sort of like his personality in that show in real life.
Yes.
He's a bit...
they allow him to ad-lib a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. He's just so funny, and he seems very just natural. I don't know. I mean, he could be nothing like the way he comes across in interviews and
there we go. We don't know him. We don't know,
but I like what I see in those anyway.
Yes. Adrian did his speech. It was a long one.
Yeah.
It was a bit like the Father Ted speech when he accepted the Golden Cleric Award. And he says, "Oh, don't start the music. I've done this before. Just stop the music, okay?
Yeah.
I'm about to wrap up." But he wasn't.
No, he kept going.
He kept talking for about 3 hours more.
Yeah. But my thing is just like, all right, we don't want to hear what they have to say. Is that the like general feeling?
No, we just need to get this going. So because we're on a schedule
like,
here. An advertising time.
Yeah.
We need to.
It's like, what are we doing here? If we're not gonna like let them say thank you when we give them an award, like what is the actual point of the whole show? And some people would say, what is the point anyway? Like, we don't care. You know what I mean? Like, as we just said, we don't give them the award. We weren't really familiar with most of the movies. We haven't seen the majority of them. I think I would like to see the Kieran Culkin one because I think I mentioned in a previous podcast, I heard Jesse Eisenberg talking about it on NPR, and it sounded interesting.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like, yeah, I mean, I see the need for an award show for them, to have their art recognized, but really it doesn't need to be televised. I don't think.
The award ceremony
will be
Some people love
it, though. Some people absolutely love it. They have,
because it's like, I want to see, because I mean, it was for the film buffs. I guess when it started out, they were like, let's do an awards thing for everyone, Yeah. Because we want to honor the people in sound and directing and all the people.
And now none of those people don't get to be part of the show, though. They do those awards like separately most of the time.
We need, and then because it's like, we want to see the stars, we want to see, we want to, the glitz and glamour.
What are they wearing?
What are they wearing? Yeah. What are they going to say?
Yeah. I mean, it seems a little bit like, I mean, not to constantly bring things back to politics, but there's a lot going on in this world at the moment. Do we really care about who's winning awards and, you know, or what they're wearing? Like, we have more important fish to fry.
I think people like it because, the in memoriam segment as well, because of the people they lost and all that. You know, it's like, it's a tribute to them. I mean...
It's like a collective funeral.
Kind of, yeah. It was preceded this year by... Morgan Freeman talking about Gene Hackman, who that story gets weirder every time I read something.
I'm not even a huge Gene Hackman person, but it's just a terrible kind of situation.
I mean, he was 95, and it was like I was like, here's Gene Hackman at 94 hanging out at this place in Santa Fe. You know, I'd see pictures.
Well, you posted on our story, didn't you? Yeah, because you were kind of surprised to see what he looked like.
And I was like, oh god, you haven't seen him for a while, you know, because he retired in 2004.
Yeah.
He did a crappy film with Ray Romano.
Oh god.
You know.
Yeah.
It was like a comedy.
And then decided, oh god, I'm retiring.
You know, I guess at that point, Sean Connery did the same thing. Yeah. Around the same time, he was like, I'm done with Hollywood. I guess at that point in Hollywood, they were just kind of like, they're just annoying now.
Yeah.
And Gene Hackman was the same kind of guy. He was like, I'm not an LA guy. It was just kind of like, I go in and I do my bit and I get out. And that's what made him one of the best, you know, in the business.
Yeah.
It's because he wasn't like, oh, look at me. Oh, da, da.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, this is a Gene Hackman film.
Yeah.
We're watching real life here, you know.
The terrible thing, though, is that he has... kids, apparently.
He has kids. He was married. I mean, if you don't know about this,
and it sort of lets you know that his kids obviously hadn't talked to him, or
10 days.
Don't really talk to him very often.
He was apparently 10 days there, and his wife, and their dog, and it's kind of like, oh well, no foul play, or no nothing suspicious here. Oh well, wait,
they were found dead.
It is a bit. It is a bit suspicious because. Everybody was like, it must have been carbon monoxide poisoning. Yeah. Just knocked them all out. Or a gas leak or something, you know, just knocked them out and they died. And, and she was, and they were both lying there for 10 days, you know, and no one had found them and, you know, no one had called in that time.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's 95 and she was his primary caregiver. It was like, It
was like a pesticide guy who found them.
It was someone who was doing lawn work,
Somebody who came to spray, the property or something. Yeah. And knocked on the door and they didn't answer.
And then he looked in a window and saw.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like the toxic, and, you know, they came back, it was like, I
mean, as you say, he was 95, it's just like, but still, you know.
Still, it's kind of weird that she died, too, you know, it's like, and the dog was dead, and,
I mean, it'll all have to
It'll all come out, because they've done a toxicology report, and it will be a couple of months.
Well, I say it'll all have to come out. Michelle Trachtenberg also died.
Yeah, but her family's like, nope.
Yeah.
You're not getting the juice on that.
I think they just said she had a liver transplant, and
it didn't take, and
and that's it. You know. Yeah,
that people were annoyed about the in memoriam not putting her in.
Oh, that's right.
And they didn't put in Shannon Doherty or Tony Todd either.
Oh,
I mean, they might
Shannon Doherty was just this year.
Well,
oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Or who?
Tony Todd.
I don't know who that is. Tony Todd.
I mean, I know him from Star Trek, but he was in a few other movies as well. He was in Commando, I think.
I mean, Shannon Doherty is kind of a big one to not include.
And people are like, Michelle Trachtenberg. She
was quite an icon in the 90s.
I mean, you know, she's no Gene Hackman. People were like that, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, but, you know, you're honouring these executives. You know, in this thing, you know, like, here's Bill Carr, the executive that nobody knows about, but he made a lot of money and he made a lot of money as a publicist. It's like, I don't know these people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like if we're going to honor people that nobody except for the people in the industry know, then you need to at least be sure to honor the people that the audience knows. Yeah, huh. Oh, God, I didn't even think about.
I mean, there was a lot of names that were omitted, so people were stamping their feet about that.
I mean, I always wonder how they even do that. Like, do they rely on the families to go, oh, so-and-so died, be sure to include them this year? Or, like, is somebody keeping up with that?
There must be an Oscar ceremony, and, it's like, well, and, it's obviously the Screen Actors Guild.
Who keeps up with who died, is what I mean. Do the people...
Yeah, that's what I mean. The Screen Actors Guild must report it. That someone's there go, okay, yeah, this is going into...
So maybe it's possible that Michelle Trachtenberg's family was like, no, we don't want you to include her.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe they said that.
Perhaps.
Just put a name up on the website and that's it. Because all the names are up on their website, but they didn't get a thing on the big screen,
Huh. So I guess if someone was a member of the Screen Actors Guild, anyway, then... like, you have to report to the Social Security office. I guess you have to report to the Screen Actors Guild also that, this person has died. Take them off your...
I guess so.
Because they're the ones who send... Oh, yeah, because they send royalties.
Well, yeah,
that's... And I think they will continue to send the royalties to an appointed person.
The estate. Yeah, it'll be the estate. It's like the musicians' union,
So, I guess you would have to inform them that they had died.
Yeah, I mean...
So then it's like, how are these people getting left off? I don't understand that.
I mean, there's a lot of people die, and, it's like, Bill Carr, the executive who made one movie in 1996...
Yeah.
Needs to be on there because so-and-so at the Oscar ceremony loved him,
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, we've been watching a bit of TV, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, we always are.
We always are. We're always
watch too
TV.
Much. I need to get back to reading, actually. I've collected some books here that I need to...
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do a book, what we're reading podcast.
We should probably...
We'll have to stick it into this section if we...
because book podcasting is quite popular. So what are we reading this week?
Book talk
Gene?
On TikTok.
It's like, well, I'm reading... this one,
You've turned this into an
NPR, yeah.
Story.
The book, it's kind of like the book people, it's very quiet. It's like, I like to read the Young Bond novels by Charlie Higson.
But I do have a few here that I'm getting backed up on that I haven't read.
Paul Dark.
So.
You haven't read Paul Dark, and you haven't read Outlander.
I also recently got Paradise Lost, and I need to read that.
Alan Partridge Nomad. I still haven't read that yet.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the best Partridge in years, apparently.
Yeah, so what we've been watching.
Well, you've been watching this show called Outer Banks, haven't you?
I just put stuff on, like, when I'm getting stuff done. Yeah, I just can't, I don't know. I need to have music on or something going, But yeah, I turned on Outer Banks because
and you turn it on, and then you just like,
and then it's more interesting than I thought it was going to be. It's quite like, it's a treasure hunting show series on Netflix, and it sort of gives me like Hardy Boys vibes.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I think they cancelled that. I think that was a Hulu.
I just mean the overall story,
And they were great books. They what I cut my teeth on reading wise, or cut my eyes on.
Yeah, this show.
That's what I should cut my eyes on.
When I finish it, I think it's still going, but so I'm almost caught up now. I think I've got a few more episodes left of season 4, but when I finish it, we'll start it over and you'll have to watch it because I think you'll enjoy it. It's a fun little treasure hunting adventure kind of.
It's a caper series.
Well, it's like an adventure series, yeah. But yeah, I've been watching that. We 1923 started.
Second season of 1923 started back up, and that's great as always.
That's such a good show.
Yeah.
There's just nothing kind of like it on TV, really.
No. No.
Yeah.
I mean, and if there is, it's kind of low budget, so you don't get to see it, So.
Yeah. It's really good. So we've watched the first 2 episodes of it's just the second season, is it? Or is it the third?
Yeah, it's the second season.
Second season.
Yeah.
And then we also binged
The Good Girl's Guide to Murder.
Yeah.
And that's basically like, it's on Netflix. That's basically like, if you've ever seen the show on Netflix called Sex Education, it gives that vibe off.
Sort of gives that vibe. It has nothing to do with...
It has nothing to do with that universe, but it's like...
it's not a comedy.
It's not really a comedy.
No.
I mean, yeah, no,
it's not a comedy at
no.
all. No, it's like...
a teenager decides to...
become a detective, basically.
For her project to get into university.
Yeah.
She decides to become a detective and solve the death of, someone in the town and the disappearance.
They're in like a little picturesque...
English
we should look
village.
up where they are, because it's not the Cotswolds, but it's somewhere nearish.
Yeah, it's like the Hay on Wye. It's like the Wye Valley or something.
You have sort of the yellowish kind of stone to the buildings, and there's a big cathedral, it looks like, from the overhead shots and stuff. It's quite a little picturesque kind of place.
Yeah.
It wasn't too bad. I think they're gonna do a second series of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I mean, I guess it'll be a totally different story, because she kind of wrapped that up at the end, didn't she?
I mean, it was all wrapped up, I think.
Yeah. So it's like, a second series is coming. It's like, okay, what's that going to be about then?
I mean, it's, when I say it's the same kind, it's shot in the same way.
Yes.
And also
where you don't know sort of what period of time
it's an ambiguous time period, yeah.
They're kind of driving old cars.
Well, she's driving an old Volvo from like the early 90s.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got smartphones, and their clothes are a little bit like ambiguous. It's like,
as far as like, vintage looking a lot of the time.
And it's like...
Not all the time. I mean, there was a girl in like athleisure, which is very now.
Very now.
But yeah.
Yeah.
It was not bad.
It wasn't bad. Yeah. It was okay.
It wasn't
I liked it.
It wasn't like, oh, I love this.
Yeah, but it was something to watch.
It was something to watch, yeah.
Yeah, from the usual stuff.
Was that about it?
That was about it, I think, yeah. That's all we've been watching.
Yeah, let us know if you've seen either of those series, or anything else, because I think we're going to need something else to watch.
Yeah,
and
we're running
Dominic's
out of
been
things.
watching Dad's Army at night when I play Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yes,
before we go to bed.
Roller Coaster Tycoon addict here. Some of you might have seen.
That was your fault for downloading that.
Well, yeah, it was my fault, but it's cute to see her get excited about it. Relive her nostalgia days.
Yes.
Because you've still got right here, you've still got the expansion of it, and you're just like, oh yeah, I need to, and it's like, no computer takes CDs or discs anymore,
Yeah.
So it's like, it's all like digital.
There's no disc drives.
Because people are like, oh, I want physical media, and it's just kind of like, yeah, but they don't really make the players for it anymore.
Yeah, no. I mean,
they do, but they don't. It's kind of like it's a dying art. Everything is kind of like, oh yeah, you don't need a box anymore. You can just plug this into your TV, or get a TV that's got a Wi-Fi transmitter, and you can download everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sad days.
Sad days, but you're having I've been watching Dad's Army.
Oh yeah. You watched something. Fry and Laurie, Bit of Fry and
Laurie, and you were like, oh, why haven't you shown this to me? It's quite funny.
That was so funny.
And I'm just like, yeah, because you're not into sketch shows.
No, I'm not usually.
And sketch, I grew up on stuff like Fry and Laurie and The Fast Show. I say and all I'm not,
but I've watched Saturday Night Live like my whole life off and on.
I mean, I'd say that's your only sketch show really over here, but no, you've had like Mad TV and In Living Color.
Yeah.
But, we have a lot of like double act sketch shows, like the Two Ronnies, Morecambe and Wise. Oh, no, actually, Morecambe and Wise were more like a variety act.
The jokes on there were just so funny, though. You know what I mean? Like Saturday Night Live and most sketch shows, like The Fast Show, it can be just freaking ridiculous sometimes. And
the Fast Show is funny.
This is not funny.
Ted and Ralph.
You're just like, oh,
little bit woo, little bit way. And of course, Judge Rowley Berkeley, QC, is very, very, very
I don't know. I just like the humor. I just like the humor a lot in a Bit of Fry and Laurie. And
this was from this is almost 40 years ago now, and it's still still relevant, all this stuff,
Well, yeah. Yeah, because they were kind of doing like stereotypes of people and like situational sketches. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But it was like situations that are very common, almost like in a Seinfeld-y kind of way. Like everybody can relate. Yes. You know what I mean? They're not like outrageous.
The Vox Pops, they need to bring them back.
I don't know. What was that?
I mean, they kind of do them on TikTok and all that. The Vox Pops, yeah, no. You know, I sometimes on Instagram, and people will know this, I read like story BBC Archive because that's all they have. It's like, oh, to this day in 1958.
You love doing that.
This day in 1958, so and so reporter for the news, you know, whatever, the news at 10 or whatever, not news at 10, but whatever. Went out on the streets of thing to find out about salt and vinegar crisps or the new crisp flavours, or to ask about the mini skirts and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, you know, it's just like, that's what a Vox Pop is. It's just getting someone's things. What do you think? And they'll say something outrageous, or they'll, you know, say something really funny. And
oh, yeah. And,
you know, people go, oh, that guy looked like he was 40, you know, when he was only 20, you know. But, I mean, they kind of do that now, you know, you see that a lot on, like, TikTok and stuff, people go up to the streets, but, I don't know, the way they did it back then, and, you know, they make fun of it, you know?
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's about it. Let us know if you guys have a BritBox subscription, because we have it for about another month. About another month, yeah. Let us know some of your favorite things to watch on there, because there's so many things on there to choose from. But a lot Ludwig of it is coming back. I was about to say a lot of it seems to be detective shows. The majority of it seems to be detective shows. It's all detective shows. And we get a little bit like, you know, the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing. Oh, they're in Provence now. Oh, they're in the Caribbean. Oh, they're in Cornwall. I mean, sometimes there's something to watch. They're still solving crimes. You know, there's something to watch sometimes, but sometimes you want a good comedy, or you want, you know, I don't mind drama, but you want it to be a little bit something else. You know what I mean? Like a little bit something different, not just like, oh, who's murdered? We have to find out now. You know, like, guess we have to find out who murdered that person. Oh, they love that in Britain. But anyway, so let us know if there's anything in particular that we should look for on BritBox if you guys have a subscription, because we have that for a little while longer. We want to get our money's worth, okay? Get our money's worth, yeah. No, but I did see, like, what's coming on BritBox, and apparently Ludwig. Oh, yeah. Ludwig is, you know, that David Mitchell detective show. Yeah. That's coming back. That was pretty funny, because I like David Mitchell anyway. That was good, yeah. Yeah, I like him too, actually. Yeah. But yeah. Other than that, I think that's about it. I think we're wrapped. This is a wrap. Hope you enjoyed. They're playing us off. It's probably right now. The Oscar music is playing us off because we've been talking too long. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for tuning in. As always, we really appreciate your support. Give us a follow on social media if you don't follow us already. We are at TButty, TEABUTTY, across all socials. Shout out to our patrons for their continued support. We really appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to everybody next time. Thank you, everybody. See you next time. Bye.